Somewhere in this entire journey, someone stopped asking me the question, beta, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wish someone would ask me that question today, because my answer would be completely different. Again, it would be just one thing. And I would say, when I grow up, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. And all through my life, I realized what we're really doing is trying to earn the validation of others. As kids, we're fighting for our parents' approval. We're fighting to get those awards. We're fighting for those degrees, for those jobs, for those professions, for a certain amount of money. And in this entire process, we stop asking ourselves, what do we want to be when we grow up? And the problem really is that all of us have just one answer. Somewhere when our education stopped, we stopped identifying ourselves and limited it to only the one thing that we studied for or the thing that we did. Wherein lies the problem, because that's where we literally stopped growing. And you know, back in school, they used to teach us a concept of Maslow's need hierarchy. You remember that? Yeah? Where they say, as humans, what we want first is food and safety. Then we long for a sense of belongingness, having people around us who love us, who appreciate us, who give us all the support that we really need to grow. And finally, at the top of the pyramid comes self-actualization, which, to be honest, till date, very few of us really understand. Self-actualization essentially means what gives us fulfillment. And let me tell you something. What gives you fulfillment today will not give you fulfillment 2 years from now. Fulfillment essentially means being happy. And you are living, breathing humans. You're going to grow. When you grow, you need growth. It's a moving goalpost. Your goals will change. What gives you fulfillment will change. And what gives you happiness today is going to change in the next 2 years, and you have to be ready for it. When I figured this out, I realized that the only way to constantly find happiness is to grow, which I do, using this one framework, which I've got as a gift for all of you today. I like to call it the ICPG. I remember back in school, I was selected to be the editor of the school magazine. My job the entire year was to scout for articles from my classmates which would go as part of the magazine. I kept doing it. Towards the end of the year, I was told that I had to write a piece myself, which had to go as the editorial. And suddenly, I realized my fear of writing. You know, it wasn't really the fear of writing, to be honest. It was the fear of creating something and putting out on public display. Why? Because when we do that, we're actually letting our flaws be seen by the world. We're letting people see our lack of skill. In the case of a written piece, it was my lack of skill in English grammar, in not being able to express myself, my lack of articulation, and most importantly, the lack of depth in what I wanted to share with the world in terms of the subject matter. I was so afraid, I went up to a friend saying, hey, you love writing. Do you have a piece that I can borrow and submit in my name? He happily obliged. And that year in the magazine, what went in my name was not something I'd written. A lot of praise started coming towards me after the piece went out. My teachers appreciated me. My friends said, what a beautifully written piece. But only a heart that knows the guilt of unwarranted and undeserved credit knows that it gives you absolutely no fulfillment or happiness. I carry that guilt with myself to college, thinking that I could bury down fears through unethical means. Little did I know, even 3 years later, the fear of writing only grew with time. It grew so much that I realized I had to face it, and the only way to face it was to do it. So I made a promise to myself. I'm going to start a blog where I'm going to write 2 essays every single month up on it for people to see, for the world to see and judge me. Judge me as much as they want. Critique me as much as they want. It doesn't matter. And when I shared the idea with a friend, I remember him saying, all this blogging business is just a fad. People start off with it and get over it in about 6 months. I took it as a challenge. I said, you wait and watch. I remember writing 2 pieces every single month for the next 7 years. And quite unknown to me, in 2015, it won the award for the best humor blog in the country.